after this morning's quick-fire qualifying sessions. Ferrari World just over to the south from us, and delighted to be joined once again for this weekend by my co-commentator and sports car racing legend, he's getting used to that now, Oliver Gavin. Ollie, exciting weekend in Dubai, topsy-turvy stuff, two really high-quality races. Looking for perhaps a cleaner qualifying session than we got in Dubai with that big incident, but we've been up and down the paddock this morning, and I think it's fair to say the teams and the drivers are well up for this challenge. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. Dubai was spectacular. It really served up two amazing races in every single class, whether it's P2, P3 or GT. It was spectacular. It was spectacular in what it served us, and we're now looking forward to this GT race and a GT qualifying, which is coming up very, very shortly.
So teams ready to go. There's one team with a little bit of a problem, a rather large problem overnight, and we'll wait to see what happens with the 77 D-Station Racing team. Ollie, we're looking at one of the AMGs. There have been all sorts of issues, and the Aston Martins just seem to have been a magnet for trouble from the very start this season. Yeah, they have, and you know, Aston have had a really rough run of it. You know, they started off with some issues and problems in practice. TF Sport in particular had issues getting cars actually to Dubai. Their delivery of a couple of their containers was late, and then literally as their 95 car was being rolled out of the container, the 61 car was being rolled into the garage with heavy damage, and then we didn't see that car again. And then going on and into the race, the second race in Dubai, the Viper Nisa car had a huge accident. Yeah, big incident with the Formula Racing car. That eliminated them from the competition. So we've lost 3 cars from an initial record 48 car entry. Still a record for the season at 45. But the Bullet Racing car we can see there at the end of pit lane. And there'll be words said about that team later in this show and beyond. About events elsewhere in the world. Some sad faces at Bullet Racing with the loss of their ex-team manager and a true sports car racing legend, Dave Price, who passed away at the age of 75 earlier this week, and there have been tears and condolences up and down this pit lane. Very much a mentor to the team, and in particular to team manager Stefan Patrick, and you know, Price, he'll be much missed.
Certainly will. I mean, he really was a legend, a great character in the pit lane and the paddock, and somebody who helped so many drivers. You know, you're talking of drivers not just sort of from, I say, my era, but before my era, my time of racing. You know, the likes of Martin Brundle, Mark Blundell,
Nigel Mansell, yeah.
David Brabham. You know, he's helped and supported so many, guided so many great drivers, and put together so many great teams. That's the bad news from the world of motorsport this week, and it is terrible news. Just spotted a little bit of good news on it, which is in the queue to go is the number 77 D-Station Racing car. So D-Station and the TF Sport crew, their key chassis parts, understand, arrived at 1 AM this morning. Yeah, absolutely extraordinary. They have just had such a tough couple of weeks out here, TF Sport, and yeah, for the incident they had yesterday, car going off at turn 11, just before the area around the hotel. In fact, I saw the incident from my hotel room, yeah, the boys have worked extremely hard, and they've had the part flown in specially to get that rear end of the chassis fixed on that 77 car, and brilliant to see it out. Great work by them. Let's remind everybody of the format for this quickfire 20-minute qualifying session. It will be the bronze drivers only as the lights go to green. Bronze drivers only aboard these 21 cars. It is going to be the fastest time of the session, of course, sets pole position. The second fastest time for each car will set pole position for tomorrow's final race. So there will be fast lappery throughout this 20 minutes. That's the beauty it brings to you. We'll try to give you the best information we can about race 2, probably at the very end of the session. But the cars are now streaming out, and we'll start to call who's in what. If you are you do have another web page available. There's a spotter's guide available on the Age of Le Mans series website, and other resources too, including live timing if you'd like to follow that
online. But out already, Ollie.
Yeah, brilliant to see the 77 car and those two Aston Martins getting out there. Valkenhurst have really been the class act here in the Asia Le Mans Series in 2023. The 34 car, the sole BMW entry here, but they have been very fast and they've got an exceptionally good driver lineup. Yeah,
that was a late change for them, and it's been a very opportune one with Thomas Merrill coming in, replacing late stages Richard Highstand in that car. I think this one, though, that was one of the best looking cars in the series, the number 88 car from Garage 59.
And I think that they're looking strong, and maybe the circuit here in Yas Marina is suiting them a little bit more straight line speed. The car at McLaren's very slippery, and so that has a bit more of an influence on lap time around here, and that sort of lower slippery, sort of lower drag.
That is the very best news for this morning, the number 77 car in the hands of Satoshi Yoshino.
Yeah.
And yet again, as he seemed to be throughout the race, second race in Dubai, welded to side, rear, front, roof of Takeshi Kimura, if you like, the other major player in Japanese sports car racing that is here from Car Guy, handled by Kessel Racing, another team that's had their challenges through the season so far with their other cars at 74, which by the way will feature Ben Barker again, late replacement there. But good to see that the beautiful green Aston Martin, and we were treated, by the way, in the gap between the two racing weekends, to the photographer for D-Station Racing. Can I say negotiating with the W Hotel to get the lights on the iconic hotel changed, not just to green, but to that shade of green. And I've seen the results, and it is spectacular.
Yeah, amazing pictures.
So hopefully,
really fantastic.
We get a chance to look at that on social media. There's some fantastic opportunities for. There you go, there's the Brains Trust at Hub Auto, Ollie Milroy, another late replacement here, or late addition here, and Jules Gounon. And I think after some troubles for them too, a highly unusual engine failure.
Yeah, it was for that Hub Auto entry in the Mercedes AMG. They'd a very unusual engine failure in the first race, and they spent a long time getting that changed. I think the change was some 12 or 14 hours to get that engine change done. So yeah, that was really tough for them. But just getting ourselves warmed up here in the qualifying session, Bullet Racing car coming off of their D-station, slowing down, I think looking for a little bit clear space, and that's been one of the constants that we've been hearing back from drivers and teams this week, as with so many cars on the grid, finding a nice clear bit of track has been a challenge, but D-Station's just sort of backing off there, and Bullet Racing are just working through, just still bring tyres up to temp and just looking to nail that lap. I would say by the end of this lap they'll be starting their quick lap. Just we're rolling through the rest of the lap here with Car Guy 57, couple of tricky corners here under and around the W Hotel, all off camber, rear of the car tends to fall away, and then coming up and into turn 15. Got to be careful here on the exit, taking a lot of curb there, then can really give you a long brake pedal for turn 16, and the exit off of here again, you get a lot of curb there, and that can shake the car, vibrate the wheels, and push actually the brake pads away from the brake pedal, so that when you go to the brake pedal is long due to that pad, what you call knockoff. So following the Bullet car coming through turn 1 again, it's a very fast piece of racetrack. They're about 195 kilometres an hour up there as another spot for track limits, which
that's going to come up.
Eduardo will be watching that, and he'll be glued to that. Many postings on that over this last.
Beginning to get laps coming up to pace, and Alex West leads the way at the moment in that number 88 Garage 59 car. The 88 is the blue car from Garage 59 with the Golf and Rofco decals on the front end of the car. This is the number 7 HRT car.
Just saw Martin Conrad going into turn 9, and he got in there a little bit hard, a little bit deep, and the rear of the car got away from him, and I don't think the tyre was quite there yet, so he's then just backed off a little bit and started on a little bit more tyre warming. But Not sure how that's going to go from him. But Martin Berry in the bullet, yeah, he is. And we spoke to him in Dubai actually, and he was a little bit frustrated, I think, with the way things had turned out for him, particularly in the car. But I think Aston really do stand a good chance here. The car is quick, it's been running well, and these guys have really been an emerging force within Asian Le Mans. Further and further we've got into it, and they've been learning a lot.
Starting to get now to much more pacey laps to the top, and it's a driver, bronze driver that featured heavily in the Dubai races. Stefano Constantini goes to the top with a 1:56.406. That's just under 2/10 ahead of Ralph Byrne. There's a red flag just as Thomas Merrill goes to the top in a 1:54.771.
Yeah,
a very shiny bronze time indeed.
Indeed, Thomas has been exceptionally fast in that car. I'm not sure what this red flag is for.
No, not yet seen a shot of whatever incident has resulted in this red flag. But 13 minutes or 14 minutes to go, and the clock has stopped.
Eduardo has been very...
67 car. It's the Orange Racing powered by JMH that is in the barriers.
Yeah, Eduardo has been very fast on the red flags here, wanting to make sure that he can neutralise everything and get everything under control. There's been a number of relatively big incidents here, and also in Dubai, which I think Eduardo jumped on quickly and just wanted to make sure that everything was okay with the car, and particularly the driver. Yeah,
Simon Orange it is in that car, and track workers rapidly to him, trying to work out how to open that clamshell door.
I think they might have gone in on that side, and it might be a problem getting the door open.
Yeah, whether it's obstructed by the barrier or whether or not there is damage, we'll wait and see. It doesn't look like there should be huge damage to that car, but it has moved those barriers.
We can't see that side of it. He's kind of, it looks like he's just gone straight on in, which is, with the tyre marks, it's unusual. Is that turn 9?
That is, isn't that the outside of the bank turn? It is.
I think it is turn 9. We're struggling to pick that up at the moment. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Looks like that may just have been missing a braking point. Let's hope there's no major damage for that car. That's a squad, by the way, the Orange Racing powered by JMH Auto. As we look at the 95 Aston Martin on pit lane, brand new to international motorsport, learning a heck of a lot. And whilst their race performance wasn't what they would have hoped, real positivity in that garage afterwards, talking to the Cheshire-based team about, Cheshire UK-based team, about what it is they're here to do, what it is they're here to learn. And it's just part of ambition and growth for yet another fairly recent addition to the sports car racing universe. It shows what's happening, doesn't it? That there is growth, ambition, and opportunity. Yeah,
we just saw another shot. Oh, there we go. There we see Simon jumping out of the car, and he's walking away, which is great to see. And he'll be going off to be jumping into the medical car and brought back to the pit lane.
Well, that's bad news, double bad news for the Orange Racing team, because in causing the red flag, he will therefore be excluded from the remainder of the session, with or without damage to the car. And unfortunately, with the format for this championship, that means back in the grid for both races.
Yeah, it does. That's very unfortunate for them. But like you said, they've learnt a lot, and they are building into their program. You know, this is their first real excursion into international racing.
There's an aspect of that which I'm keen to hear your input on, Ollie, as we see the Walkenhurst car just coming slowly back to the pits. No problem with that car, it's just under red flag. First time that team, having principally raced in the UK in the GT Cup, and I can think a couple of appearances in the British GT Championship, where they use a different brand of tyre. First time on Michelin tyres. Now tell us about that. A team, a driver, switching from one brand to another tyres. To those of us uneducated in these things, it sounds something small, but it's not, is it?
No, it's massive. It really is massive, and you'll be changing an awful lot on the car to get the car in the window again, to get it driving how you want it to drive. And you know, they'll be getting a lot of advice from McLaren on that to make sure that they've, you know, working away with those in partners hand in hand to try and make sure that they are coming with a good baseline to really get a good setup.
Just that shot there, some thick black lines heading directly to the barrier line there.
Yeah, it's unusual, really unusual to see the tyre marks all the way into the wall, and it's like it's just gone straight on, which then leads me to believe has there been a problem with the ABS?
Maybe.
And that's the reason for him going straight on, because it shouldn't, with ABS, you shouldn't be seeing those lines if it's gone straight.
Yeah, cars lining up at the end of pit lane. Hub Auto there at the head of the queue with Liam Talbot, the 72 car. Remember, this is a team that has won the Asian Le Mans series in past year with the Ferrari, moved across to this brutal-looking Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, it's
there is the other McLaren 720S GT3 rather, an Evo version of that car announced earlier this week, and spoke to Garage 59. They have 3 of these cars in their fleets, and they'll all be upgraded. I believe they may well have already tested that Evo kit, and that 59 car, which is Nick Halstead, isn't it, the ex-British Touring Car Championship driver, will feature one of the 2 Bell brothers. Rob Bell will be there, and actually that is Eduardo, so they presumably believe there might be some barrier damage here.
Yeah, so they've just come down to have a look at it, and he's just, well, I think he's trying to assess what's going on with the barrier, but then he's also, I think it's also trying to move the vehicle, move the car. I think maybe the nose has been pushed back, and it's then restricted the ability for the door to open. And then I think with the way that they hoist the vehicle, using on the flatbed there, you'll see the piece of equipment that's on the end of the hoist, and how they attach that to the car and safely lift the car onto the flatbed. Yep,
so it should explain, as we see again, this is that's steam, isn't it? That's radiator damage.
Yeah.
So Simon's skipped out the car and looks, I think, basically okay. I should explain, by the way, that is Eduardo Freitas, our Portuguese race director, and race director for just about everything the ACO organises, the FIWC, the European Le Mans Series, and here in Asia. And that, I think, is Rui Marquez, fellow Portuguese race official, one of the stewards here, long-time friend and co-marshal, by the way, to Eduardo. Came across the pair of these in just 2019 at the Le Mans Classic, and we were wandering around the circuit with a couple of my guys photographing and me spectating.
Yeah.
And who did we find on the marshal's post? But Eduardo Freitas and Rui Marquez, a couple of FI race directors. That speaks volumes about the passion here. So, afraid, for the second consecutive time, we've got a delay in qualifying. Stick with us, because this time, if this is going to take a little wee while, we can actually talk to you and get a little bit of feedback and questions on the internet. I don't think it's going to be that long, though.
I don't think so.
The way that system works, that barrier system works, it's modular. They can lift damaged sections out, and they can slot new sections in, and they've been pretty rapid at that. And a couple of times we've seen that being required both for practice sessions and for some of the other races that are here on the undercard here for the Asian Le Mans Series this year. Ollie, not a lot to be determined from what we've seen so far, other than the fact that Thomas Merrill is actually the quality of this field.
Yeah, Thomas has been really the star of the bronze show, let's say, in GT, and he's done a spectacular job, even to the point where he was verging on being as quick as the pros in that second race, and I think he finished the race in the second race in Dubai.
He got back in the car.
Yeah.
It's worth saying, by the way, if you're confused by what we're saying here about the bronze, silver, gold, this is a system introduced by the FIA to assist the development of pro-am racing, and effectively what it does with a variety of performance-related, age-related, all sorts of other aspects of what makes up a driver's CV, if you like. There is a medal system, bronze for non-professional drivers, silver, which is somewhere in the middle, gold for full professional drivers, and platinum for high-achieving professional drivers. So what that's all about is the rules here define every car must have a bronze driver. There is a further complication, which is the legacy of this championship, the Asian Le Mans Series, prior to the COVID pandemic, is that this always sat across the winter period. We'd have one race a month in November, December, January, February. Which year, because they're all reassessed every year, do you use? We've always used the prior year. So Thomas Merrill is actually this year a silver.
He is,
but
yes.
Last year he's a bronze, and that's what counts. So that explains the kind of, and we can just see there, there is a bit of car left in that barrier, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and the team will be rather nervous at this point, seeing the car backwards and forwards, and I just want it to get onto that flatbed nice and safely without any more damage.
It's a huge investment for any team, a GT3 car. These effectively are the race versions of the cars that you or I or anybody else around the planet might have on our wish list should those lottery numbers come up.
And they're at least $500,000.
The very lowest, and that's by the way the car and not racing the car.
Yes.
I mean, realistically, most of these cars in race condition for the endurance races we've got here, which require additional kit, you are talking into 7 figures before you're getting into a meaningful campaign. Car is almost safely on the truck, and will be shortly then secured.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but that's not going to be 3.5 hours. That's not going to be what we had in Dubai in the barrier at Dubai. Let's go down and speak to Haley, who's in pit lane with the manager of the Orange Racing McLaren, see what he can tell us about the troubles that Simon had.
I'm joined here by Graham Young, team manager, of course, of Orange Racing by GMH. It wasn't the start you wanted to your campaign here in Abu Dhabi. I mean, do you have any information, firstly, concerning the car at all?
Well, luckily Simon's fine, which is the important bit. But yeah, it looks like we've had a problem with the brakes at the front. So we're just assessing the data now with McLaren, trying to work that out. But it looks like it's a brake pressure problem. But we'll only know really what the real problem is until we get the car back and analyse the data.
I mean, you came in here really positive after a complicated 2 outings in Dubai, of course, kind of littered with mechanical problems. You know, tell us, did you make any changes? How did you come into? Have you approached these 2 rounds in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, we come with a really good setup on the car. Dubai, we had problems with the car. We had an issue with the turbo. You know, a few other little issues. We needed to get the car dialed in at Dubai. We got that at the end, and we had really good pace in the race, in the final race, and we were really happy. Came here really positive. Simon's driven here before, likes the track. He was running really well yesterday. So yeah, we were hopeful of a top 10 finish today in terms of qualifying, and then see where it goes in the race. Marcus and Michael have done a great job as well. Their rolling average was really good. So yeah, we were really looking forward to it. Had a few issues overnight again with the car. The lads finished at midnight, but yeah, it was looking good. But it's just a shame. It's racing for you.
Absolutely, but you just tell us about Asian Le Mans series. Why did you decide to come and take part this year?
Well, we decided that we wanted to sort of broaden the team, do something different, do an overseas event, and we'd heard really, really good reports about how good a series this was, and it's turned out to be. It's brilliantly run. You know, Colin's done an amazing job, and yeah, it's been really enjoyable, even though we've had all these problems and poor results so far. The drivers have loved it, team have had a great time. It's been hard work, but yeah, you know, we came here to compete. We came here to do well. You know, the McLaren won it last year with Inception, so we knew the car was a good car. It's just not gone our way so far.
So it's so great to see, you know, you're so positive, and yeah, let's just hope it's repairable, and we'll be seeing you out there at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
We hope so too.
Cheers, thank you very much.
See you.
Well, instantly, to me at least, a recognisable accent from the Valley of Civility between Liverpool and Manchester. That is my kind of home area in the south of Cheshire. Used to be Lancashire, but they've moved the border. Darn them. But that, for me, that's what this is about. It's great to hear such positivity from a team that's not at the best of times in terms of performance and results, but are enjoying the adventure.
Oh, clearly loving the series.
That's a key part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we're seeing with this. It's aspiration. It's moving forward. Team, the track workers going to work fast there, and as you can see, whether or not there was damage, they can quickly rearrange that barrier, and that's impressive. The way in which, by the way, the impact there can be absorbed by, you know, these are not concrete blocks, neither are they just, you know, simple blocks of plastic. These are engineered interlocking elements that are designed to absorb the energy of a high-speed impact, Ollie.
Yeah, and you know, we're just going back, touching on the points there made by the team manager at Bullet Racing. At Orange Racing and McLaren. You certainly see from the tyre marks as the car is going into the barrier that they had some sort of braking issue, and the barrier there is exactly what it's done exactly what it's designed to do, and absorb that energy, and to enable them to really get the car back on the flatbed and then back into the garage and hopefully fixed up. Nice to see Liam Talbot there in the Hub Auto car.
Well, while they're continuing with that, we've been told the resumption time will be communicated at 11:15. That's 15 minutes from now. That could be longer, it could be shorter. We'll wait and see what goes on with that. There's a little bit of other recovery equipment coming in. I think what they want is, it's the second layer of barrier here that's been dislodged, and that's trickier to get to, so they might need a bit of a lift to interlock one of those units into another. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Trusty JCB.
It's another JCB. I wonder if they brought the same one from last week. Probably not. But with just under 14 minutes left on the clock, and with cars at the end of pit road, they'll be there for a little wee while. Let's go through where we are in terms of the running order at the moment for race 1. Only one flying lap registered by any of the cars, and 18 of the 21 did manage to put in a lap time. It is Thomas Merrill at the moment on pole position, provisional pole in the 34 Valkenhurst BMW, followed by Stefano Constantini. We said he'd featured last time, and he looks like he's going to feature again here in the AF Corsa number 21, the Ferrari 488 GT3, in one of its final international appearances at this kind of level, with the new 296 GT3 coming on stream for this season. Ralph Byrne was just dislodged from second place in the audit in the number 99 Herpeth Racing Motorsport, another previous championship winning driver and team, by the way, Herpeth. The 99 is the third quickest, a 1:56.576 at the moment. Further second and a little bit more back is the second of the 4 cars run here by Herpeth Motorsport. It's Nicky Lertweiler, who got pretty much beaten up, it's fair to say, in the second race at Dubai, with a lot of contact coming his way, not necessarily and not generally his responsibility for those impacts. The Swiss driver, who has been an overall championship winner in an LMP2 car in my first season back in 2015, Nicky, in this championship, he sits 4th in the number 20 Herpeth Motorsport car. The first of the AMGs is the Get Speed car, number 10 car. This is the car in the 10th anniversary retro Get Speed livery, and it's Florian Scholzer, another man who's been in the thick of the bronze fight. He sits 5th. Garage 59 and Alex West will be reasonably pleased at the moment with an 1:59.660, but will think he can do better. Get a good look at the front. Not much damage there, you know.
No, it does look a little bit pushed in, but I think they'll be relatively happy and be able to take a quick squiz at that and hopefully get it back out again in time and fully prepared for the race.
Absolutely. 7th quickest, sorry, is the number 6, and it is Michel Blanchimont. Sorry, it is 7th quickest, and he's in the Haupt Racing Team, the HRT number 6 AMG. 57, the car guy, the very bright yellow, highlighter yellow car, the 57 Ferrari, run by Kessel Racing here for car guy. Takeshi Kimura is 8th quickest. 9th quickest is that black and red Bullet Racing car. Better look there at the McLaren Ollie, and I'm not spotting major damage the team will need to worry about.
No, I think the nose will be pushed down, and I think that was the reason why they were struggling to get the door open, and I think that was maybe being pushed back onto it. More damage maybe on the left side of the car than the right, you know, so a driver's left. Yeah.
So Martin Berry we saw pushing on. That effort has brought him at the moment 9th out of these 21 cars. 10th before the red flag, but I'm pretty sure we'll lose that time, is that Orange Racing powered by JMH McLaren. Then we get the 33 Herpeth Motorsport car and Sarah Zhao in the purple number 33. Met him at breakfast this morning and he's just buzzing with enthusiasm for this, as most of these bronze drivers are for the opportunity to contribute to qualifying. John Hartshorn at the moment 12th in the TF Sport 95 car. The 16 Get Speed car, we're now getting into cars that have registered a lap but not yet a competitive lap. The Get Speed car, the pink car with Bi Huang Zhu in the 16 AMG 13th. The second HRT car, the 7 car with Martin Conrad, more to come there definitely.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's 14th. Kessel Racing with Michael Bonaczewski, the Kessel Racing 74, that's the red car run by Kessel. 59 from Garage 59, Nick Halstead, the white McLaren, that car 16th. Tomonobu Fuji in the rebuilt D-Station racing car. Now, Tomanubo should not be qualifying that car. That it might just be that they've been given the opportunity to put the silver driver out to assess whether or not the repair is right, because Tomanubo is a silver ranked driver,
yeah,
so it should be Satoshi Yoshino. We have seen a couple of hardship laps, if you like.
But also, is that also possibly a mix-up with?
It could be a timing error.
Yeah,
it could be a timing error. It could be one of those things that's not been fixed on the car, but will be.
Yeah.
Johnny Laursen, the father and son of the Laursens in the all-Danish crewed Formula Racing car number 60, is the last car to have actually completed a time lap, but it's not a competitive lap. It's something like 20 seconds off, and Johnny is certainly quicker than that. And 3 other cars: the Leipzig Motorsports Lamborghini, the Hub Auto car, the AMG we were looking at a little earlier for Liam Talbot, Alex Melikin in the 4th of the cars from Hebeth Motorsport, the 91 car, complete the 21 car lineup. We will not see the orange racing car back. We will be hearing about the resumption of this session, and it does look as if that won't be too much longer, reasonably soon. I think that is Nick Halstead.
Yes,
Garage 59.
Yep. Yeah, certainly all of the times we're seeing there at the moment, Graham, they'll be from cars and drivers who are really still getting themselves up to speed. Alex West
there,
yeah.
Who is the co-team owner at Garage 59, long-time racer, another massive enthusiast, Swedish driver, has raced here in all sorts of machinery. They previously operated Aston Martins. After that we had the McLarens, but before that Alex made his first appearance in the Asian Le Mans Series some years ago in a Ligier LMP2 car run by AF Corsa with Pipa Durrani, a driver that's been plying his trade recently at the business end of the Emerson WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. This is you'd never know that had ever had a problem, would you, with number 77 car?
The boys seem very relaxed, just leaning on the door.
Satoshi Yoshino at the wheel, I can tell you now, whether it was before.
Yeah,
so it is
maybe it was some hardship laps.
It could well be, because it was a mighty repair. There's a big damage to the back of that number 77 Aston Martin. 40 minutes to go. Teams will have to set flying laps to get onto the grid for the race this afternoon. But remember again, they don't just have to do it once, they have to do it twice, because the second quickest lap of this session will determine the grid for the season finale. As we always know, in any season, if you can point and guarantee where there's going to be drama, it's probably going to be the one where you don't actually have to put the car out the following morning.
Yes.
And that always seems, I'm looking at the GT driver here and thinking, usually I'm pointing at a GT driver when that's the case. A little bit of contact sometimes, a little bit more contact there. Do join us for those 2 races, by the way. The racing here has been spectacular, and we'll talk about the Dubai races maybe for a couple of moments, Ollie, in just a little wee while.
Yeah.
But the other element here with Yas Marina, it is an iconic circuit. The backdrop is both spectacular and completely unique. But more than that, towards the end of these races, we'll be racing under the lights. It's a colourful, literally a colourful grid for the Asian Le Mans Series this year. And there's just something about sports cars racing on the lights that just raises the ante. They do look spectacular, and the racing will be spectacular.
Oh, absolutely. But being races that transition from the sunshine and the beautiful days into the nighttime and under the lights, it presents a real challenge for drivers and also for the teams. We saw that in Dubai, where as the track cooled down and the sun went down, teams started to struggle a little bit with the balance of their cars, and the drivers were starting to see certain performance gains or certain losses in areas. And so it's trying to understand that and how the track is going to respond. And just talking through with a couple of the teams earlier when we were down in the pit lane, you could certainly sort of hear and get the impression from them that that's something they're really a little unsure of how that's going to go, and they're still sort of chasing that setup and how the track is going to evolve and develop. So I think it's still really in the balance and how all three classes are going to evolve and really the pecking order. But it really is. That's been one of the things that's been so fascinating about the Asia Le Mans Series this year: the strength in depth and also the performance level, drivers, teams, crews. It has been really a very, very high bar and the highest level of performance I've ever seen here.
What we're seeing here is another piece of lifting equipment. That looks to me to be one of the bracing pieces. So there is science, a whole lot of science behind the construction of these barriers. It is not a loosely connected bunch of plastic crates. This is a highly engineered safety solution system, if you like. What matters here is the interlocking aspect of this, but also the way in which those elements, those layers, if you like, are spaced. And you can see at the point of impact that spacing has gone, so what it's requiring is one of the bracing pieces.
And there's obviously a lot of science behind that and the way that they are laid out and those spaces between, and that's the reason why Eduardo has gone down there, to make sure that the barrier is then put back in exactly the way it was earlier on, to make sure that if another car goes in there, it has all of that safety system in place to protect the driver and the car as well as possible.
And you must have seen that. I mean, Ollie Gavin, 20 years with Corvette racing, and you've seen those safety developments coming on in terms of the way in which track protection systems have come, not just at road courses but also places like Daytona, with the safer barrier systems, etc. The systems in the car that you've got, whether or not that's belts, seats, etc., extraction hatches, you name it, the crash structures, I mean Corvette in particular, with the side impact system that was developed for that car. And we talked, I know, in Dubai as well about the driver warning systems.
Yes, the radar system on the rear.
Absolutely. I mean, massive steps forward in that 20 years.
Huge. And whether you're talking about in GT or in the P cars, the level of development, the technology, the way that has been implemented into every vehicle, and the way that the circuits have also been developed, and the likes of, well, you can name just 2 or 3 guys, whether it was someone like Charlie Whiting or Sid Watkins or someone like Eduardo, who is now implementing so much of that knowledge into all of these racetracks around the world. And I think you were talking about this in Dubai, where when Eduardo is away from a race track for a race, he is often on the way to travelling to another circuit to inspect that racetrack for the very next event that they're going to be going to.
And that's either review of the existing facilities to make sure they've been maintained, or it's if any change whatsoever has been made. We're going to see this this session back to green flag at about 11:20. To be confirmed. But before that, let's go down to speak to Valentina Hazeklo, who's with Haley in the Bullet Racing Garage. Haley's with Valentine right now.
I'm down here in the... You can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Hello. So I'm down here in the Bullet Racing Garage with Valentin Hazeklo, driver, of course, class number 66. Let's talk about Dubai. I doubt it was the result that you were looking for, because you came in really enthusiastic. You have a bit of a different role here. You said it yourself, you're the captain of this metaphorical ship. So, what can you take away from that experience in Dubai?
Honestly, not much. It was a proper missed opportunity, bad weekend, so we just had to forget about that and start from zero again. Basically, the only thing we take from Dubai is that now the drivers know the team, knows the car, and we have a relationship for Abu Dhabi. That's all.
Okay, so how are you feeling coming into Abu Dhabi now then?
Much better. Martin did the Abu Dhabi 12 hours. Jacob has a weekend of experience in GT3, and the car seems to be working well, so fingers crossed then, and pressure on Martin for qualifying.
Yeah. Now, as we have a bit of time, and it's quite a subject in the air du temps, I want to say, Henry Pescarolo. Now, you have a particular relationship with him. Could you maybe enlighten us and tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, it's a long story, but I will try to make it short. So basically, most of the drivers' passion came by watching Formula 1. Mine came with Pescarolo and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So my grandfather was a farmer, and Henry bought a farm. He's the neighbor, basically. And my grandfather and Henry was used to drive tractors together, and then so my grandfather gave the passion for farming to Pescarolo, and on the other way Pescarolo gave his passion for racing to my grandfather. So when I was 6, I was at Le Mans in the garage with Pescarolo, the drivers, and I once said this is the job I want to do. And yeah, I've grown up with endurance racing and Pescarolo, and I've always wanted to do the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Wow, what a fantastic story.
Yeah, I had to make it short. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much for that. And I think we'll be starting quite rapidly. So, yeah, I'll let you get on.
Thank you. Fingers crossed.
Well, I'll tell you right now, at some point for the centenary race at Le Mans, the TV team will get Valentine into the booth to tell the whole story. I've heard it, it's fantastic. Henri, a living legend, and we can now see, by the way, a little bit closer the damage to that 720. There is indeed more visual damage than it looked.
Yeah, they're certainly getting a good eye on what's going on there. And they were talking about a front brake pressure issue, and I think that looking at the lines, the tyre marks into the barrier, it just looks like they have had some form of ABS issue. Maybe that's with some problem with the braking system in the front of the car, which is then just only locked rears. When that happens, it really is a huge loss in performance in braking, and quite frightening.
I think that is sand that's all over the car and not extinguishant. Because it's hit the barrier. The barriers aren't polished every morning, and of course, we are, effectively in a desert here.
Yeah, that left front tyre is down as well. I don't know whether that's come from the accident or whether it's come from that flat spot and locking of that.
It was a huge, long black, two black lines heading directly to the point of the impact.
Yeah.
But the good news is the car is back. The better news still is the race control vehicle is heading back to where it's
speedily.
Yes. Good lines.
Yeah, Eduardo is on it.
But we should very soon be back up and running with just under 14 minutes to go.
And the top of the timesheets is the team. We just had a little bit of an adjustment or a reminder in how we should say the team name from Nicky the Cat.
Catsburg.
Yes.
And, and those who are not familiar with why Nicky the Cat is called Nicky the Cat, there are a variety of reasons which we'll go into in painful detail throughout the rest of the weekend. But it's Vulcan Horst, not Vulcan Hurst, I think it's right. Horst. So, yes, we'll try
just continue to murder it.
We'll murder it, I suspect, as time goes on. So thank you to Nicky the Cat Catsburg for that. And we always do like to take notes from anybody that can point out our myriad of errors about international endurance racing. Good opportunity there to have a quick look at the solo Lamborghini in the race here, the grid here. This is the Huracan Evo 1. It's we talked about the Ferrari with the new car. There was an update to I can see my hotel room. The update to the Lamborghini.
So you're washing out there?
No.
Yeah.
Beautiful backdrop. That is Yas Marina. You can see in the background, and amazing facilities here at this circuit, Ollie. 3 different pit lanes.
It is extraordinary.
At this circuit. The updates that came in place in time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix 2 years ago here, that you described the Asian Le Mans Series beautifully in a piece we did last year. 3 major changes. Session now confirmed will resume in just under 90 seconds time. The bottom section, cutting out the flick-flack, if you like, chicane.
We're just watching the McLaren Garage 59 car, number 59, and Nick Holstead on board there. And you saw him sat in the car. He'd got helmet on, and on the top of his helmet he had a hose connected to it, and that is there to help cool the driver. And that's really important. That's been a big feature here of the Asian Le Mans Series, both in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. It's warm, it's hot. These tracks are physical, and looking after the driver and keeping the driver cool is one of the key points for every single team, making sure that that driver is comfortable and he is as fresh as he possibly can be while he's at the controls, because driving these cars, it's physical, it's tough, it's very hot, and that's always good to see that the teams have paid good attention to that. Drivers' well-being inside the car, it really is something where there is a huge amount of performance loss if a driver gets too hot.
Absolutely. So 14 minutes, just under, you can see 13 minutes and 51 seconds to be absolutely precise. And as you can see in front of Hub Auto car, the other unique feature of this circuit, which is pit lane exit, goes through a tunnel. And actually they join the exit of turn 1 on the opposite side of the circuit. Away we go.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking down again. And this effectively reduced session. They've not had reduced running time, but they've effectively wasted that window, which means yet another outlap before they can get the tyres back up to temperature. It compresses it, and it gives us potential for more drama.
Yeah, it does.
There they go, diving underneath, and there they come.
Yep.
Diving up the other side.
So all of these drivers now will have been spoken to by the teams and really try and make sure that they're focused on getting the tyres up to temperature, making sure that they get the pressures up again before they really start to push hard. They're really working away to prepare the car and the tyre for this qualifying session. And they're trying to also pick their spot. You know, we've got some 20 plus cars on the racetrack. 21 cars are going to be out there.
It will be 20 with the effective elimination of the 67 car. The other quick thing we should mention, by the way, is we've got the cars coming out to take to the track. 77 struggling to get away, or has he just been held?
Just being held for
the two get speed and the HRT car to come by. Is the other change that we've seen here, and we will see in all other ACO run series, is no tyre warmers.
Yeah, that was a big thing in Dubai. Huge thing that we saw lap 2 of that very first qualifying session in GT, and it really was terrible luck and news for Dynamic, and they had a really nasty accident in between turn 9 and turn 10 in Dubai, and their car was out on the spot. Huge accidents, over 2.5 hours delay in repairing the barrier. But yeah, that was really hard to see, really hard to watch that, and to see that team who effectively were out within 2 laps
of the series. Yeah. So Satoshi Yoshino, by the way, was still struggling to get that car underway, so we're waiting to see what happens for the number 77 car. That was the car that was in trouble overnight. Had a pretty
yes, it is.
Attending to something.
Yeah, it is. And they're now, the window net's going back on, door be shut.
I think, I
think they've control alt delete and got going again. Yeah, a small little glitch. That was 60 car, and that was very quick at times in Dubai. Had a little incident with the Viper Nisa car, didn't it?
It did indeed. It wasn't that little. It eliminated the 65 Aston Martin from
terrible accident.
The championship. It was, I think, possibly a little bit of inexperience on the part of the Ferrari driver. I don't think a big impact with the 65 be enough that it just took all the space he had away for correction, and it was a big impact with the wall and ex-Aston Martin. Thankfully, Douglas Koo, who was in the car, got out the car, staggered away, was somewhat winded, but I gather is absolutely okay. So if you're watching, Douglas, hope you're feeling okay. I'm sure there's a few bruises in places you wouldn't like to describe, but I hope we see you back.
So we're just seeing there the long picture down the straight there. Oh, we've still got the D-Station car in the box, and they've still got a problem.
That's Tomono Mifuji, I think, talking to Satoshi Yoshino.
Yeah,
so this is Thomas Merrill. He, at the moment, leads this session and leads it by 1.6 seconds.
But I could see from that long shot down the straight there, plenty of traffic in front of him, and he's trying to find that spot and that slot on the circuit so he can get a clean run. And it seems like they're all pretty much on the same piece of time. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars there. You know, if I was a team manager, I'll be on the radio telling those boys to get out of it and try and find yourself a nice spot.
And remember, this is not just him doing this for bragging rights. He may be 1.6 seconds up the road at the moment. Number one, that was pretty early in the session, but number two, he's got to do it twice.
Yeah, he does.
Because he's also going for the grid for race 2 and the championship finale.
Come on, boys, just give yourself some room here, because you're all squabbling over the same piece of tarmac.
It's not helping either of them,
No, it's not. It really isn't. I would be getting out of it, and he's about to start his lap, the number 10 car, and he's finally decided, which then bottles up the Lippert Lamborghini behind. And it's all over the
compromised that. That wasn't helpful at all.
Yeah, Florian Scholze there really did compromise, and everybody's backed off. So now all of these laps for all of these cars here, the 91, the 10, the 19, are all going to be compromised.
That was a flying lap from the Lamborghini. He actually closed the gap to the pole position sitter by quite a chunk, and it would have been a chunk more, wouldn't it? So
absolutely.
There will be, that is Gabriele Rindoni, and I'm sure there are choice words in Italian being spoken into a microphone in that car.
And maybe even some words with...
Anglo-Saxon?
Yeah, no. I would certainly say there's going to be some words there, maybe with some officials
possibly
about the number 10 car anyway he's been driving. So Stefano Constantini, really a bit of a star from Dubai, and he has looked very comfortable in this Ferrari throughout all the days I've seen him on track, and he's driving nicely.
And that's the key, isn't it? This is about 1 or 2 lap pace in this case, but this discipline is not about 1 lap pace. It's about consistency. It's about bringing the car home without error, and in the quickest way you possibly can. We are seeing improvements, and we've got a new provisional pole setter because that 154.771 from Thomas Merrill has been bettered, and bettered by a distance. It's a 153.766 now. Martin Conrad in the number 7 Hampton Racing Team AMG goes to the top of timing and scoring. Quarter of a second clear from Stefano Costantini, who was just seen there in the number 21 AF Corsa car. Thomas Merrill about, though, to cross the line, and I think will further improve his best effort, but currently sits 3rd with that 154.771. But the timing screen all of a sudden lighting up with blue and purple sectors. Blue, a quicker sector than that driver has managed in that car early in this session. A purple, the ultimate best sector of the session. And Thomas Merrill does indeed go back to the top. It's a 0.6 of a second gap this time. 153.155 is the new provisional pole setting lap, and at the moment I can tell you that he also holds the best second quickest lap as well. It was a double pole in Dubai. Could it be a double pole in Abu Dhabi? At the moment he's on track for that with 7 minutes to go, Ollie.
Yeah, strong performance also from Martin Berry in Bullet Racing, that Aston Martin. I know when we spoke to him in Dubai he was a little bit down on himself, but he's bouncing back here and doing a really strong job. So excellent performance so far in qualifying from Martin Berry. Watching the number 7 Martin Conrad car coming through underneath the W Hotel. He's looking like he's on for another very quick lap.
Ralph Byrne goes through in the Herbert car as we watch the end of this lap from Martin Conrad. 3rd on the grid at the moment because he's been shuffled back by Ralph Byrne in the number 99 Herbert car to 3rd. What can he do? He goes to the top again, and all of a sudden Thomas Merrill has got competition here.
Yeah, and I think if Martin can keep it going, I think that we might see another good lap from him. He's just working his way through into turn 2.
And more to the point, by the way, good enough at the moment. He is in a double pole position, sitting team. We talked, Ollie, before this session about what you expected from here. You said you thought the AMGs were coming on stronger. Well, it's true at the moment.
Yeah, they were very, very strong. We're now just getting eyes on Thomas Merrill, and this is a tricky part of the racetrack. Talking to Nicky Katzberg actually earlier on in the weekend, he said this is the weakest part of the racetrack for this car, for the BMW. Struggling with traction off the corner. They've got to be careful here as he comes through. If he takes a lot of curb here, he gets that knock off on the brake pedal, so he'll have to pump the pedal to get a strong pedal again. But he looks like he's come off there nicely, but still the rear of the car is not quite underneath him, and I think he goes P2, so it's not quite strong enough for pole position there, but struggling a little bit with the rear of the car on the way in. He's fighting that car. He really is working hard.
He's second quickest this session, but his second quickest time at the moment gives him pole for race 2. So it's all coming together. Liam Talbot comes through in 3rd position. So all of a sudden we've got 3 cars within a quarter of a second. We have, how many is that? We have 7 within the single second, and still purple sector times coming. 5 minutes to go. There is plenty of time for pole position for the race this afternoon and for tomorrow to change. At the moment, Martin Conrad in the Out Racing Team number 7. This car, the very black HRT car, is coming through in control of this session, but for how much longer? Liam Talbot is going quicker still.
He's pressing getting on, Martin is, and I think that he could be up for another improvement here. He's really wringing the neck of this Mercedes AMG. I think it goes over the line to another improvement.
Yeah, it's a marginal improvement. It's a 153.001. Just pulls a few more hundredths out of it.
He slightly overdrove in that last sector. Rear of the car wasn't quite underneath him.
But it also grabs pole position for Sunday's race as well. So he's back into a double pole position.
What can Liam Talbot do here?
Liam Talbot in a good position. Thomas Merrill with a stellar middle sector, by the way. We need to keep an eye on his times. And is he in clear rear now? Here comes Liam Talbot with a clear track in front of him.
Yeah, just a little bit loose as he came through into the two corners underneath the W, but nice exit out of there and up into turns 15 and 16. Let's see how he takes those. How much curb? Not much curb there. He's keeping off that curb on the exit. Could he have carried a bit more speed there? Apex curb, just jumped over that, and he's second, goes P2.
Ahead of Merrill, but Merrill's right behind him on the road here. Merrill goes to pole. Merrill goes to pole with a 152.833. So that's a much improved time. And Thomas Merrill has now got a clearer track in front of him as well. So if there's a time to push, and he can push still, if he's got the tyres on the car to do it, it's going to be now.
Yep.
3.5 minutes to go with what was a 20-minute session, interrupted by that red flag for the off from the 67
He's
McLaren.
out of it. Thomas
He's
bailed out.
It, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's just got out of the way of the Ferrari. He doesn't want to tow that down the next straight. And he's just giving the AF Corsa car some room as well, the 60.
So Merrill aboard the Wolkenhorst, number 34 BMW M4 GT3, out racing the number 7 for Martin Conrad, 0.168 of a second back, and the other man in contention here to this point has been Liam Talbot in the Hub Auto car. We have, though, got Martin Berry on a tear further down here. The Bullet Racing car, 8th quickest at the moment, but fastest of all in the first sector, and by a chunk as well.
Yeah, he is,
So
yeah.
it's all going to be about, that car should be strong in sector 2.
Very.
Which is where the straight line speed comes
If he
into play.
gets a strong, it goes P4 for Stefano Constantini. He's done a solid job. I think he's backing off now. I think that could be it for him. But here's Martin Berry getting a bit of a tow from the 91, coming down into turn 9. And it's all about how he executes this last part of the track. Bit tight there, his line a little bit tight as he came into turn 9. That's maybe not the classic line for a GT car through there, but is he going to get held up at all by the 91?
That's the key. It's not an improvement for him in the middle sector. He's somewhat off the overall pole setting pace, but still in line for a significant improvement if that Porsche is not a factor ahead of him.
Yeah, and he's just got
Liam Talbot goes to second, by the way, with a purple sector in the third sector. Under 2 minutes to go now, so the gap first to second is 0.05 of a second. The gap first to third, under 0.2 of a second. It's getting closer and it's getting quicker. Martin Berry does not improve on that lap.
Yeah, he got a scruffy end to the lap there, and I think he was distracted by the 91 somewhat. He just needed to just get clear of them.
Martin Conrad is going to get one more crack at this. Thomas Merrill is going to get one more crack at this. Liam Talbot possibly doesn't need another crack at this because he's going quicker than the pole setting car in the first sector. So too is Florian Schulze. So too is Michael Bonicheski, although that car has not delivered the times you'd expect in the middle sector so far. So Merrill in the BMW, Talbot in the Hub Auto AMG, Martin Conrad in the number 7 Haupt AMG, Stefano Constantini in the AF Corsa Ferrari. That's your 1, 2, 3, 4. They are also the top 4, but in a different order for race 2. Is it going to stay that way? My guess is no.
Yeah, we need to get eyes on Liam Talbot here. That's the car to be watching. He's on quick again in the second sector, so we need to get some eyes on him to see exactly where he is. I think we're going to be seeing him coming off of turn 9 into...
He's in clear air.
Turn 11, 12. Yeah, he is in clear air. He's coming down into the hotel sector of the track, just under that, nice and clean through there. A little bit loose, but okay. So just, yeah, nicely done, Liam. Yeah, nice and smooth on the controls. Nicely done. Excellent. Very clean.
Experienced Australian gentleman driver now and enjoying his racing. Loves this team.
Yeah.
Coming around the final turn, Ollie, down towards the line. What are we going to see here? Second on the clock, the moment for race one. Thomas Merrill's up. He goes to pole. He goes to pole by 57 thousandths of a second. It's a 1:52.776, and into the bargain grabs pole position for the second race as well. So it could be, with the checkered flag out and most of the other cars in contention here bailing out at this late stage, Hub also snatched it at the last. The 72 AMG from nowhere really in Dubai after troubles with the car and a blown engine in that second race in the darkness, pulls out a double pole. They will be elated with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really strong performance there from Liam. Executed that final lap under pressure. He knew that that was the lap he needed to put it in on, and he did a fantastic job. Boys there in the Hub Auto Garage, very happy. Nicely done, boys. Well done. Well done.
There you go. There's a bit of brand awareness there with Jules Gourdon on pointing duty and Ollie Milroy close to the camera on billboard duty. That is the car that looked like it was going to do it in the early stages of this session, but has not done it. Thomas Merrill, though, the 34 car, will start on row 2 for race 1, row 3 for, sorry, position 2 for race 2, row 2 for race 2 here, and then it's Martin Conrad 3rd, Stefano Constantini, who seemed to be in 4th place all the way through and will be on 4th position for the finale 2. They're your top 4. Then Herbert Motorsport's second car, Ralph Byrne, sat as high as 2nd in that session early on, but could not keep up that progress. Florian Schulze again flew high in the early moments of the session, but bettered by Liam Talbot and several others towards the end. The Get Speed car number 10 will be on 6th place on the grid later this afternoon. Another Porsche 91 in the hands of Herbert Motorsport's Alex Mlikin. Bihang Zhu in the Get Speed number 16 will be 8th. The Garage 59 number 88 in the hands of Alexander West is the best McLaren in 9th, and 10th is the best of the Aston Martins. Martin Berry unable to do better than 10th. What a cracker there from Liam Talbot. It all came together at the very end, didn't it?
It really did. You know, he had to really string that lap together. The pressure was on, but he delivered.
This is the 3rd place car in the session here for today's race. 2nd place car is the 34 Valkenhurst BMW M4. Bit of a wriggle there from Thomas Merrill. It looked as if he'd be able to do that pretty easily at one point, but Liam Talbot will be elated to have snatched that away from him. We're going to be going down now to Haley, who's got a no doubt absolutely delighted Jules Gourdon, the effective team leader at Hub Auto.
I'm joined here by Jules Gourdon, a very happy Jules Gourdon, as understandably, with Liam. What a cracking final lap there. Qualifying, you know, he was setting down some fantastic times in the sectors, and then he just put it all together in that flying lap.
Yeah, what a stellar job from Liam, but also I would like to say thank you to the team. We had a very hard weekend in Dubai, an engine blow up, and also we had some issue to find, but we found it. The team has worked so hard for it, so I think it's such a good reward for them when they do a night shift and they work flat out on the setup. Phil, our engineer, did a mega job. We really worked together well, and Liam just did a cracking lap, so it's fantastic, you know, when you have those stories from one weekend very hard to another one, and we start on pole. It's only quali, but it's the best spot for the race.
And it's a fantastic result, of course, and it really puts you in good stead for the 4 hours of Abu Dhabi here.
Yeah, exactly, and I think for an Asian team to be on pole for an Asian Le Mans race, it's quite cool. So thanks to Maurice also for the effort, AMG for the great car, and again, it was down to Liam, so congrats to him.
But also maybe down to your lucky socks that he has on, because look, regardez, he has some lucky socks on, he said. He said he told me not to mention them, but there we go. Well done, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, my guess is he's not washed those socks from Bathurst, which may be very unpleasant indeed. You know Maurice Chen, but let's just talk about the order first. 1:52.776 for race 1 here in Abu Dhabi, race 3 of the series from the Hub Auto Racing, 72 AMG and Liam Talbot. Valkenhurst Racing, it's 57 thousandths were different, barely a tick. The Out Racing number 7 AMG, almost a quarter of a second back, and the AF Corsa Ferrari 6/10 back. It is the top 7 within a single second, and then further down the order the gaps get to be a little larger. Fascinating stuff, great stuff from that team. Maurice Chen will be delighted with that.
Oh, he'll be thrilled. I mean, I saw Maurice earlier on in the weekend. Great to see him here and here with the team. And yes, they came off the back of a very frustrating Dubai. You know, they showed some good speed there, but never quite got it all together. They kept on having problems, and I think Jules only got in the car, I think, in the second race.
Yeah.
And that was the first time he was in the vehicle. But you know, they showed great pace, great little team, and it's great to see them here bringing it all together. And after a number of hard days, they've not much sleep really. That team have produced a great result here in qualifying. They're going to want to back it up now with a strong performance in the race. But they've got a great driver lineup. Great to see Liam here
on the right-hand side. He's looking cool, calm, and collected. We'll tell you, by the way, subject to official confirmation, it is a double pole for Liam here in Abu Dhabi, and impressively, his second pole time just a tiny bit over a tenth off that pole position time. So not only has he got speed, he's got the consistency as well,
which really does put them in good stead for the race. And I think that car is really a hot shot for the victory. Let's see how it goes later on today.
Well, we're about to get underway for the second of a pair of quickfire qualifying sessions. Another 20 minutes. This time we get the 24 prototypes out to play. It is 15 LMP3 cars, a mix of Ligier and Duquesne chassis, all powered by the 5.6 litre Nissan V8 engine. Ooh. And it is 9 LMP2 cars, the cream of the crop, if you like, powered by the Joule-like 4.2 litre Gibson V8 engine, the high revving engine from the UK. These two classes have provided some stellar entertainment in a very different way, Ollie, through the two races in Dubai. I mean, you expecting the same here?
Oh, no doubt, absolutely no doubt. Now, this is something it is different to last year, where they're having LMP3 and LMP2 out on track at the same time, and this will create some challenges for all of these drivers. They're all bronze drivers,
yep.
So it's going to be tough for them to find particularly that clear bit of track to put that lap together. So this is going to be something where the team's going to have to work with the driver, really working the radio hard, trying to find that spot. You know, there's some excellent driving talent out here today, and the green light is on, and they're just going out on track.
Points, by the way, and what that means here, DK Engineering, we'll talk a little bit about them when we get a chance to talk about them on track. A single point behind the Algarve Pro Racing squad in the order, and it's a single point. That was a little bit previous. Naughty. The single point behind. That means should DKR claim pole position here, we will go into the first race here with the first two teams tied on points in the championship, and that's pretty amazing. 99 Racing, it's the number 98 car, because Herbert's the number 99 here, and another new driver for that squad. It's Ahmad Al-Hati, the second Omani driver on the grid here in two different classes. This is the 43 car that produced the win in race 2 after really being in the mix all day for the first race in Dubai and then having a problem with the rear left corner. They delivered finally,
fully,
and absolutely excellent stuff, and will be, I'm sure, a force to be reckoned with. Haven't though been really at the sharp end on pace here so far.
No, when we've been watching the timing screens in all of the practices and all of the testing, they just haven't quite been there, and we're not sure whether they've been running full fuel or just been keeping their powder dry or what they're looking to do, but they've just not been that quick.
Just looking there again, the points situation as well between MV2S, the Graf Racing team, and the winners in the second race, DKR Engineering, very tight. 7 points between those three cars, and remember, with 52 points still to be earned here in this double qualifying session and 2 full races, all of which will be done by dinner time tomorrow here in Abu Dhabi. So
it is quick fire.
I'm not thinking about dinner, but over dinner we can discuss what so far I think you and I both agree has been a standout season for the Asia Le Mans series.
It's been spectacular. P2 has just been a revelation. So much fresh talent into the championship. Great teams, great crews, smart strategy, and you know, it's great to see.
And going by the way, into clear air here for the start of this session. That would be John Falb in the number 25 car. Took the win in the first race in Dubai, 4th place in the second race after not really getting the things together and finding, we were talking to the team co-owner Stewie Cox earlier, suffering real drop-off as the track got cooler.
Not sure where John was going there. You know, he had a big weave as he came down into turn 5, but yeah, he's I would be worried at this point. He's collecting a lot of debris and a lot of pickup from tyres. He's not really driving online.
Was he worried about how cold the tyres were, but in doing so he's compromised another aspect
possibly.
of the performance here?
The tyre's going to be coming up to temperature, but he's just driven around offline for about half a lap, so he might have to try and clean those tyres up again. So let's see. But John is very experienced.
Oh, he is. I mean, he's one of the few drivers, and certainly one of the very few gentlemen drivers who's won titles in both LMP3 and LMP2 machinery from Las Vegas, and one of a crop of US-based gentleman drivers that are enjoying their winter here. Very many of them also race in the European Le Mans Series, which gets underway in the spring.
Yeah, I think that it is the Asian Le Mans Series has now really sort of become this fantastic test bed for drivers and crews and teams who are looking to shape their summer season, their European season, and it is I think the grid is just exceptional. You know, we're seeing such talent.
So it crosses the line to start what should be. It is a 1:47.395, by the way.
Just still getting up to speed.
Still getting, but there's much more to come here.
Yeah.
But Rodrigo Salas, by the way, in the Nielsen Racing 24 car, which is the defending championship car, goes through in second place, half a second behind.
This is now the problem.
It's busy here, isn't it?
Yeah, the problem for John is that it looked very clean and very open for him, but the slower traffic's come out of the pits and they're just getting up to speed, and he's tripping up over those guys. Yeah. And it might take a couple of laps to all shake out. But it's tough. And these three cars are all nose to tail here. You like just breathe here. Just give yourself some room.
That's Alessandro Quani in the middle there from the Cool Racing team. That is the Ahmed Al Hati car with the Cool Racing 37, and then the 24 behind. Quani, by the way, different lineup for the Cool Racing car here in Abu Dhabi. Nicolas Lapierre has decided that, in view of the fact that they don't believe they're in the championship hunt here, to step aside to give both Quani and the young Dane Milte Jakobsen, one of the exciting prospects we've got in LMP2 here this year, who featured so heavily in these races so far, that he'll get more seat time, as will Alexander Quani too. So that is going to be one to watch. It's going to be about whether or not Alexander Quani can stick with whatever pack he's got, as Ahmed Al Hati gets stuck into a couple of cars in LMP3 in a place where it's so easy.
And it's tough to overtake at this point on the racetrack, and getting those guys to see where you are, and this is compromising everybody's lap here.
He's still not past them either.
No.
He gets past the MV2S car.
And the Cool Racing car, that's going to be compromised as well. Yeah, this is all part of it, and then finding the spots, finding the space. Oh, and the CD Sport car spinning there just underneath the W Hotel. That is a tricky corner. We've seen that through the weekend so far, with people just losing the car as you come off. It's off camber there, and you can easily lose the rear of the car. He's just spun. He'll flat spot the tyres a little, but he should get going again. No harm done, hopefully, and he should be clean to start running.
To the top of timing scoring goes Sally Juric, Turkish driver in the Decar Engineering car, number 3.
That was
from Turkey, one of 2 Turkish drivers, and the other Turkish driver, one of your standout favourites from the last couple of races, Jan Schungiven.
Oh yeah, he was spectacular. We did see quite a wild line there from Sally Juric coming up and through turns 2 into 3 before then taking the downhill section to turn 5, and it did seem a little bit offline there, but maybe that works for him. Quick
word about the Nemo liveried car. That is a car that the team has acquired. They acquired it for the Le Mans 24 Hours last year, an effort that was earned through championship win in 2022. But that is a very old Orica. That is chassis number 5 of well over 100 cars that have been built since 2017. That is one of the very earliest cars and still capable of competitive times here. Keeping an eye, by the way, as he's going well at the moment, Sally Jelic, but also going well, amongst the other cars going well, is Rodrigo Sales putting in some good times, is Yasser Shaheen, who's popped up in 3rd place, and I think is going to improve again and could be a threat here for the front row at the very least.
Yeah.
John Falb goes through and reclaims 2nd place, 4/10 off in the Alcar Pro Racing car. The Nielsen Racing car briefly goes into 3rd. Yasser Shaheen still to complete the lap in the orange and black liveried United Autosports car. Ahmed El Harty, by the way, in the mix there, but the gaps are reasonably large.
Yep, Sally Jelic just going P1 there again, just confirming that lap he'd done. He's just backed off a little, I think. Here he's just going to maybe look for a little bit of space in the traffic. Well, maybe that was just a little trick of the camera there.
In LMP3, by the way, as we look at the 55 car, it's this car, Nielsen Racing, to pole position. No, it isn't, because Alexander Bekantsov in the 73 into Europol car takes that slot, so it's a 73 out of the 4 in LMP3.
Tony Wells, I was chatting to him last night, and he was happy with his performance. I think he's found some 1.2, 1.3 seconds since last year here. So really, he's picked up his own personal performance. But they were struggling a little bit with the setup, particularly as it gets cooler. These guys seem to struggle a little bit. Tony's doing a cracking job, and this car's not usually that quick in qualifying. They're usually far stronger with their race performance. So Tony will be thrilled with this right now.
Yeah, stays in 2nd place. The gap, by the way, between 1st and 2nd in LMP3 for pole position here, 0.024 of a second. Jeez. Tiny gap, and we've seen this throughout. The great thing about the LMP3 battles we've seen in the races so far, Ollie, is that those battles are going on through the race with 3, 4 and 5 cars, and it's not always the same cars.
No.
Again, though, we've seen here really unusual lack of ultimate reliability from 1 or 2 cars.
Yes, we have really unusual issues and problems, electrical issues and glitches.
Excellent run from Ahmed El Harty, who's gone 2nd quickest, by the way, in the 99 racing car, the number 98 car. Ahmed has never raced in LMP2. A late arrival here for what's been a revolving door of drivers at 99 racing, but the Omani driver has gone through, and he is quarter of a second back from Sally Jelic. It's 1:43.834, plays a 1:44.089. DKR Engineering from 99 Engineering, and Ahmed El Harty has put a 1/10 and a half on John Falb, who sits in 3rd place. Nielsen Racing's Rodrigo Sales is in 4th, but this track is getting quicker because we're getting blue sector times everywhere, and everybody is going quicker in the 1st sector than the pole sitting car.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden the tyres just switched on. It's been out there running long enough, and it's just all of a sudden come in the zone.
We're halfway through the session. At the moment, it is Sally Jelic who sits in pole position here for race 1 and race 2.
Look at that.
But he's not been the quickest in the 1st sector. In fact, there are 3 other cars out there that are quicker, and Ahmed El Harty is on an absolute tear here.
He is. Everybody's improving in the top 7 at the moment. So let's see where it shakes out. Charlie Cruz, he's a little bit strong into the final corner underneath the W Hotel there. Turns 13, and he ran a little wide. I think he's maybe given up a little bit of time. The Cool Racing car is on his gearbox.
I think that's John, isn't it? That's John Falb. So remember Charlie Cruz, who does improve to 2nd on that lap, but I think that Ahmed El Harty blitzes it. He's 8/10 up.
Wow.
It is a 1:43.003 from Ahmed El Harty. Rodrigo Sales goes through to grab 2nd. There's improvements all over the place here, Ollie. But Charlie Cruz, who was a double pole sitter, remember, in Dubai, is at the moment can do no better than 4th. It's Ahmed El Harty ahead of Rodrigo Sales, Sally Jelic, Charlie Cruz, John Falb, Alexander Kwani, Yasser Shaheen, Jim McGuire, and Torsten Kratz getting in amongst the lower end of the...
Ahmed El Harty's just gone purple in the 1st sector. He's still on a tear, so I think that we're going to see further improvements there from the 99 racing car.
Yeah, on double pole at the moment with the 2 times he's done. He's improving on the best time overall Jerome de Sadler at the wheel of the MV2S racing car. That's the championship leader here. Two really strong runs in the LMP3 class from the 29 squad.
He's getting a nice tow there from the P2 car as well as he's coming down into, that's from the United car, coming down into turn 6. This is hard on the brakes, the hardest braking point on the whole racetrack, down to about 60 k's at that point. First gear here, really important to get good traction. He got a little bit too much apex curb there on that final right-hander, upset the car, so he's going to be a little bit slower down here, down into turn 9, but still be getting a little bit of a draft from the P2 car, which will be helping him. It's now all about the line into turn 9. A lot of grip here on this new surface and lots of different lines that you can choose, it seems. P2 is slightly different to GT in how they're driving, and P3 is also different. There's another tricky part of the racetrack here, getting your braking right here to where the W Hotel is, nice and smooth. Slow your hands, slow your feet, positioning, placing the car smooth and clean on the power off the corner. That's impressive, that's good. And are we going to see an improvement here from the number 29?
Prototype racer Jerome Sadler, principally in Radicals, more recently into LMP3. He's going to cross the line now, and where does this leave him? Stays fourth. While that's been going on, Ollie, a improvement again from Ahmed Al Hati, a 142.644. Sally Jolic has reclaimed second. Charlie Cruz has had an improvement too, but the top two, Ahmed Al Hati and Sally Jolic, are in the same order in both races right now, but it's a second is the gap. That is enormous progress from a man who had not sat, I don't think, in an LMP2 car before this weekend.
No.
W2M by Rinaldi Racing in the hands of Torsten Kratz. In terms of pace, this has dominated through the series so far.
No one can get
but it's
close
had
to these guys.
all the luck, all of it bad.
Yes.
In terms of what's happened in the racing.
Well, it's like these guys are DKR from last year. You know, these WTM by Rinaldi Racing have been spectacularly quick in every session, in every race. They've been super quick, leading, and they've just had a couple of electrical glitches, which has just been heartbreaking for them. But maybe they can string it all together here this weekend.
It's the WTM car actually ahead of the last of the LMP2 cars in the hands of Jim McGuire. It's a 148.663 for WTM, but he needs a good second lap. He's only got one rapid lap at the moment. So this is the effort to try to grab a good grid position for race 2 from Torsten Kratz, who has been, to be blunt, in terms of pace, the class of the field of the bronzes so far.
Flag at turn 16.
Which is going to compromise this. He's not allowed to improve, and it is Charlie Cruz right at just coming up the final turn,
chasing it hard. Charlie
isn't he just? And is he going to get that going before the 11 car gets? I think there was someone on the way through there. Is Charlie going to be clear?
No, he's not.
He's not. This is going to compromise that lap time, and that's bad news indeed for Torsten Kratz. Won't be allowed to improve under yellow.
No.
He's clear. He's away though. There's still yellow flags though. Green flags there.
Charlie's just found reverse, and don't reverse it too far. Teams will be radioing to all of the drivers to be cautious and careful there on the exit of 16. Let's see what he did. He just got on the power just a little bit too hard before he was lost the rear of the car before he even got to the curb. And he just a bit too eager there, and there's a lot of that going on here at the Yas Marina. A lot of corners that are tricky like that. You have to be so progressive getting back to the throttle. But here's one of the corners that has got decent grip and it's got a little bit of banking to it that allows you to get hard on the power. It's turn 5. This is turn 9, also a banked corner. Rodrigo Sales, I spoke to him earlier on in the weekend, and he was a lot happier after the test days here. Initially they weren't, but they managed to get the car a lot closer, and so I think that he just feels like he's in a better spot with this car right now. So that's
still
good.
Yellow flags. Yellow flags have now disappeared. So Rodrigo Sales will be allowed to keep the lap time here and will not be compromised. He's got a clear track. He went purple in sector 1, lost some time though in sector 2, likely with traffic. The American defending champion, and stays with Ben Hanley here. It didn't quite look as if no improvement. He's just over a second. He's only 0.003 of a second off second place here. He just needs the tiniest of changes. He is at the moment, by the way, second place on the grid for Sunday's race. I remember, by the way, this year it is a Saturday-Sunday weekend here in the UAE. That's a change since last year, a change in the way the nation has structured the working week to do with the importance that international trade has with the United Arab Emirates. But Ahmed Al-Hati, who still going quickly, not quite as quickly, has a second, almost 1.1 seconds advantage here. Good chance here to see Alexander Kwani. He's just behind the pole-setting car, and Kwani in the 37 Cool Racing car coming back to LMP2 racing after taking a bit of a sabbatical, 6th quickest.
And he's got a lightning fast teammate in Molde Jakobsen.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing these guys later in the race and seeing what they can do. Let's see if there's any improvement here from Alexander Kwani.
Still quick sectors coming through, principally in sector 1, which seems to be getting quicker. But it's a neat side of trouble for Yasser Shaheen, though.
6 is that? I think that's turn 6.
What's happened here by himself?
Just lost the car on the rear on entry.
Red flag.
Red flag.
And that's bad news for United Autosports.
Yeah.
So Yasser at that point, by the way, was 7th quickest.
Oh, he's beached
Another,
the car.
by the way, of our debutants in LMP2 tested the car at. I don't think we're going to see the session. We might see the session restart. There is time to get another time lap in.
He's got going again.
Will not be resumed.
Oh, wow.
So that's where we are. So great stuff from Ahmed Al-Hati. He's on pit lane now. It is a 1:42.644. Niljani there celebrating that lap time. Is the time that actually is going to earn pole position for the 99 Racing team, and they'll start from pole position on Sunday as well, thanks to a 1:43.003. Second place on the grid for today's race is going to be Sally Jolic and the DK Engineering squad, the number 3 car with a 1:43.731. Second place tomorrow, by the way, will be the 3rd place car today, Nielsen Racing. Let's go down, though, to the pit lane, and we've got Haley with Niljani, world champion in the WC, overall Le Mans winner, and now part of the pole position sitting team.
I'm down here in the 99 Racing Garage with a very happy Neil Jani. Now, completely contrary to how it went, of course, in Dubai, where he qualified last. But we know the reasons, of course, as why he had last-minute bronze driver jumping in. Ahmed Al-Hati's just gone and got you double pole here in Abu Dhabi. And if I'm not mistaken, the first time in an LMP2 car?
First time in an LMP2 car, he did an amazing job. I mean, how he got in and in free practice, how he was building up every lap, amazing job, and just huge congrats to him.
So just tell me about how he's kind of integrated into the team since he's arrived here in Abu Dhabi.
Well, he came with a very humble mind, and we tried to give him a lot of running time, and he was very open to every advice and, you know, pit stop changes, also how to drive the car, and I think soon we have to be careful of him, and he's going to put pressure on us.
Yas Marina, is it a circuit that you like?
Definitely like it. Car feels very good, a lot better than in Dubai, so we are very confident.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you.
Excellent.
A tip for Haley is that yeah, Niljani is going to like this circuit because he's on pole position. Even if he didn't like it yesterday, he certainly liked it now. That was hugely impressive from Ahmed Al-Hati. I have to tell you, I've known Ahmed quite a long time. He's pretty handy in a GT car. I did not expect that.
No, he did a spectacular job. Really jumped in. He obviously taken a lot of advice from the team, Niljani and everybody else working there with Algarve Pro as well there for the preparation. And we spoke to Stewie Cox earlier on, didn't we?
We did.
And he had lots of things to say and lots of things to look forward to in the race, I think.
That's the gap. It is over a second. 99 Racing from DKR Engineering, the team that's finished second in both the races in Dubai, second on the grid here again. Nielsen Racing with a good effort in qualifying there from Rodrigo Sales. That car 3,000 of a second off the front row, and then Charlie Cruz with that late session spin in the 43 car could do no better than 4th. Algarve Pro's 25, the race winner in the race 1 at Dubai, finishes the session in 5th position. LMP3, it is another pole position from Torsten Kratz. He's been epic throughout this series so far in the number 11 W10 Rinaldi racing car. It'll be the Inter-Europol car number 73 in the hands of Alexander Bekantsov, is second in LMP3. Nielsen Racing in the hands of Tony Wells, who led the session earlier on, finished in 3rd, and Matthias Lurton with a great finish for Rinaldi Racing, 1-4 in that session, the 55 4th. Let's go down then to talk about LMP3. It's going to be Leo Weiss, who has got a wide smile, I'm sure, after frowns in Dubai. He's with Haley on pit lane.
So I'm joined here by Leo Weiss, driver of car number 11. 4 out of 4. That's not bad, is it? So that's like 4 poles now here at the Asian Le Mans Series.
Yeah, I mean, we can't complain about that. Torsten really did a mega job on the qualifyings. Dubai was not very good to us, so let's see. I hope we have better luck this races here in Abu Dhabi, and yeah, try to get as much points as possible here.
So what are you taking away from Dubai? I mean, have you kind of made any adjustments? What have you learned from your experience there?
Yeah, we had some technical issues with the car. We got that fixed now. Yeah, so hopefully we will have a clean race here and yeah, have better luck this time.
Great, thank you very much, Leo.
Thank you.
So great stuff there from WTM by Rinaldi. Smiles at last in that pit garage, and that's good to see. Everything is looking like, for the 3 o'clock race this afternoon local time, and look for on the Asian Le Mans Series website as to how that time adjusts for where you are in your local region. Everything's looking like it's set up for a not dissimilar battle. Close, hard fought, and some of the same teams, but some different teams in the mix. That Liam Talbot result in GT, a cracker. Yeah. That's going to bring them into contention. But I'm expecting, again, as we move into this finale weekend, just some more cracking battles up and down this field, and a very different circuit, Ollie.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. And I think whether you're looking at the GT battle, P3 battle, or P2, you know, it's going to be spectacular racing. You know, the level of the drivers, the level of the crews, level of the teams, the strategy they can employ. A 4-hour race is really quite a battle and a bit of a mind melt for the team. So they're really going to have to sit there and work hard on that. We've got the 3 pit stops that they have to do, the mandatory 100-second stops that they have to do. So all of these things into the mix. I think we're really looking forward to a great race this evening here in Yas Marina.
We are. It's 50 points remain to determine who are going to be the champions, who are going to be the 3 teams that get the best golden envelope in motorsport, the automatic invitation to the centenary edition of the Le Mans 24 Hours. That will be going to the class winners in all 3 classes here. It's a huge, huge championship result coming for anybody that gets that opportunity. Join us. We've enjoyed having your company for another qualifying session. We're just over halfway through this session, this season, and it's not even been a week yet. I've been Graham Goodwin. He's been Oliver Gavin. We'll still be the same people with Haley Edmonds a little later this afternoon here in the sunshine in Abu Dhabi. Join us for the first of 2 4-hour races here at Yas Marina Circuit.